Hey there, I'm Joe Carter. If you've ever popped the hood and thought, where do I even start? You're in good company. Around here, we take the mystery out of car repair, one fix at a time. Whether you're a beginner or just looking to sharpen your skills, there's something here for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're into learning without the headaches. All right, that's enough from me. Let's get into it.
What to do if a hernia suddenly formed on the wheel? This problem becomes a real headache for every owner of transportation equipment who encountered it. Hernia, which came out on the tire, is extremely dangerous because it poses a real threat of an accident. Therefore, it is worth paying some attention to this so unpleasant and widespread problem of tires, to talk about the causes of occurrence and types of herniated wheels, how to properly drive on such rubber when repair is possible, and how to make it. The concept of a wheel hernia, the causes of its occurrence and types. It is a big misconception to consider a car tire as an ordinary rubber sheet which is put on the wheel rim. After all, this part has a rather complex structure which consists of many interrelated elements, cord threads, metal and capron, cables, layers of rubber and rubber that form the side surfaces and tread of the tire. It happens that the distance between the constituent elements of the tire changes to a greater extent, the cords are stretched or torn. This leads to areas of lower density and loss of strength. This results in the formation of a herniated tire. Simply put, if a tire has a hernia, it means that the reinforcing elements within the rubber layer of the tire have been stretched or damaged. Tire hernias are almost always formed when the wheels meet various obstacles, such as curbs. When hitting a curb, the load on the wheel increases, hence the pressure inside its tube increases, which leads to the fact that hernias form on its surfaces with weak cord sections. Also, factory defect of the tire should not be excluded. There are the following types of tire hernias: radial, which appears on the tread. This defect is usually found on old tires in areas with a worn tread pattern. It is extremely rare. Transverse, this is a hernia that came out on the lateral surface of the tire. One of the common defects that can appear even on a new tire. What happens if you continue to drive with a herniated tire? A lateral hernia on a wheel can appear unpredictably, so what to do and how to drive further? Perhaps all car owners are interested in this very question, whether it is possible to continue the operation of the wheel on which such a defect has formed, and how effective will be its repair. Alas, but there is no unambiguous answer to this question. Repair of a tire with a hernia and its further operation will depend only on the degree of damage and further driving conditions, which include terrain, speed, the load on the repaired tire, frequency of operation. In case of minor defects, 2 to 5 mm, it is possible to continue using the tire, though with some limitations. The damaged wheel should be mounted on the axle that experiences the least load when driving. Drive carefully and carefully, avoiding repeated impacts and speeding. Constantly monitor the size of the hernia on the wheel. Failure to follow the above recommendations threatens to rupture the tire while driving. You don't have to be psychic to see where this is going. If the radial or lateral hernia has a size of more than 5 mm, then it is simply necessary to make repairs to the wheel, and it is better to replace it altogether, because it is very unsafe to continue operating the car. How effective is the repair of wheel hernias? The most rational way to repair the problematic spot on the tire is to have it repaired at a tire fitting service. But it is necessary to understand that not every tire with such a defect is repairable. It is also worth noting that even the most highly qualified specialist will not be able to restore the integrity of all the damaged layers of the tire, respectively. Its strength will be much lower than the original. If such a procedure is still possible, then the repair will consist of applying a reinforced patch of suitable size to the place of damage and its subsequent vulcanization. In any case, such a repair is only a temporary necessity. Permanent operation of such rubber is no longer recommended, because after the repair work will change the geometry and characteristics of the wheel. And this, as you know, will cause premature failure of shock absorbers, silent blocks, steering rack and other elements of the chassis of the machine. It is highly undesirable to repair a damaged tire also for the reason that its cost is almost equal to the cost of a used tire in normal condition. If the repaired wheel continues to be used, it should be mounted on the rear axle, as it will be easier to keep the car running if the rubber breaks. It is worth mentioning another method of repair, the use of harsh capron threads, with which the damaged place is stitched after which it is vulcanized on both sides using raw rubber. What to do if the hernia on the wheel appeared on the road? The main symptom of its occurrence at the moment of driving is the beating of the wheel as a result of its imbalance. Perhaps the car begins to drift to the side. The only true solution is to install a spare tire, if available. If there is no spare tire, you should continue driving. However, it is necessary to reduce speed and avoid all obstacles, including small holes and small stones. It is also necessary to make periodic stops, during which you should inspect the defective place. If the problem occurred with one of the wheels of the front pair, then it should be moved to the rear axle, because in the case of rupture of the auto tire, it will be easier to maintain control over the vehicle. Another nuance, the repaired tire is best used as a spare and not constantly drive on it. In conclusion, driving with a herniated tire poses significant risks not only to your vehicle but also to your safety and that of others on the road. It's crucial to recognize the signs of tire damage and address them promptly. Always prioritize regular tire maintenance and inspections to prevent such issues. If you find yourself with a herniated tire, it's best to pull over safely and seek professional assistance. Remember, a small precaution can make a big difference in ensuring a safe driving experience. Thank you for watching, and drive safely.